What is going on? Charles Botenston here. Today we are going to be talking about a book that I'm actually reading right now as we speak. It is called it's called Essentialism, but I call it Minimalism, okay? So it's kind of one of those books that you read The One Thing by Gary Keller and then you say, okay, there's more to this than just doing the one thing. And that's the essential book. And I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a book review once I'm done. I only have about 100 pages left, but it's called Essentialism. And essentially, it's about you choosing only the top things that you need to do every single day and just eliminating the rest. In other words, they bring up the example of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he took over Apple after he got fired from the board, went into Pixar, built that up, produced like ridiculous amounts of amazing videos. Then he went back to Apple and he said, okay, we have way too many products. We have way too many things we're working on. We need to go back to the basics. And the basics include, number one, what are our products? What are our core features? What are we about? And Steve Jobs took it over and he said, listen, this is the number one thing we're going to be working on this year. We're going to be going directly into the iMac. We're going to be going directly into the the iPod. Once the iPod was done, then they went into Apple Music. They said, okay, iTunes is everything. Then once they were done with that, I said, we need to get a nice, sleek, sexy phone. They worked 100% on that. Once they're done with that, they had the iWatch, the iPad. And every single year, obviously you look at Tim Cook now, who's the CEO, and he was the mentor right under Steve Jobs. And that's the exact same thing he says every single year. We just focus on key fundamentals that we're really good at. And essentially the book talks about what are the minimalistic things that we need to focus on in life every single day, and we need to push out some things. We're going to have to sacrifice some things. I've talked about sacrificing, the sacrifices that I'm making. And I was actually thinking about it this morning as I woke up. I said, what are the key things I need to do every single day? Okay, the key things that you need to do every single day, whether it snows or this morning there's a terrorist attack in New York City, or you just don't want to do it because you're hungover, you're tired, or the holidays are coming up, or it's the new year, or I'll try it next year, or I'll try it next week, I'll try it tomorrow, I'll do it in the afternoon. What are those things that we're pushing off, knowing that we have to sacrifice some things? That could be hanging out with friends. That could be going out late at night, overspending, getting the newest phone, the newest gadget, the newest something that makes you look cool to your friends, but in fact, it's not advancing you at all. You have a very micro win when you put food in your body and your body says, oh, this is great, we love sugar, but that's a very macro loss because you're not looking long term. Okay, when you put sugar in your body, it breaks down the collagen in your skin, and then that's how you get wrinkles and loose skin. Those are the macro losses that you do when you go out in the sun and you're out there for too long, or you don't drink enough water. Right now I'm parched. I had a ridiculous gym class this morning. I didn't want to go to it. It was just very intense. I didn't work out Saturday and Sunday. I could have had an excuse that it was snowing in New York City, but I said, okay, what are the minimalistic things that I need to be getting done? Okay, from 5 to 6 is my morning routine. From 6 to 8 is the gym. From 8 to 9, it is prepping my day. From 9 to 10, it is making sales calls. From 10 to 11, it's either going live or filming something for BPI, which is my company. 11 to 12, half of that is for lunch, and then the other half is prepping for the afternoon. 12 to 1, you're going to be doing something, whether that's appointments or whatever else. In other words, you have to then say, okay, if this is my minimalistic schedule, what are the sacrifices I need to make? What are the things I need to knock out of that? Who do I not need to see? Who do I not need to talk to? What events do I not need to go to? Where's my money being allocated that I don't need to allocate those resources anymore? People would spend, say, $15, $20 on Netflix. Do they really need Netflix? Are there that many shows that they need to watch? They allocate it towards, I don't know, going out with friends or that trip to the beach. Do you really need to have that trip to the beach? Do you really need to be going out with your buddies on a Tuesday and getting fucked up and having wings and whatnot? Do you really need to be doing that? Those are the questions that have to be asked on a continuous basis. First, you have to find out where you're going, okay? If you're a male, David Data, the way the superior man. okay, is what is your mission? What is your mission statement? What is your legacy that you want to leave behind? You know, I was listening to Tom Ferry this weekend, and he brought up something that was extremely just right up my alley. And he said he only wants two things. Number one is to give back and be happy, okay? Giving back, obviously, that could be in many ways, you know, financially, with your time, with content, with products, with speaking engagements, with books, whatever, knowledge. It could be in any way, building schools. It could be whatever. Happiness, that is a clusterfuck of ideas, okay? Happiness, what I was saying before is that the micro wins for happiness is I just had sugar, I didn't go to the gym, I didn't make sales calls. Your body says, oh yeah, this is good because we didn't go out on a limb, we didn't get fearful, we didn't have to face rejection, we didn't have to face a weekend without going to the gym, and then you go in on Monday and that class kicks your ass like this morning. So what are the things that we need to continuously cut out? Okay, and happiness really comes down to one word: growth. If you see that you are growing in an area, your confidence and your happiness increases. But if you feel that you're stagnating, that you're not adding anything, that you have plateaued, that there's no momentum behind going to the gym or making sales calls or approaching pretty girls or saving money or seeing your legacy or your passion coming through or making the sports team, you know, there's this guy at the gym. I talk about him all the time. Guy at the gym. He's probably 250 pounds. He's a big boy, and he's probably 5'11", 6 foot, right around there. And he's about my height, but he's a big guy, and he goes every single day to the gym. Every single day. The guy is there, and he works out. He's sweating every single time. So then you think about it. It's like, okay, what do we need to cut out? Okay, what are you eating? Because you're going to the gym, you're doing that. That is working. That is the essentialism that you need in your life. But what else, what are we doing here? Okay, from the rest of, when you leave the gym, what are we doing for the rest of the day? Okay, what are you eating? How much are you sitting down? Are you moving around? When you get home, what are you eating? Are you drinking? What's the food? What's the carbs? What are those things that you're doing outside of the gym? That's the essentialism, is that less is more, okay? You hear it all the time, and I have it, and I say, you can do everything. And then I started thinking about it more, and I said, I can't really do everything, because right now, one area that's suffering for me is relationships. You know, I'm on the dating apps, and I don't really like it, to be honest, because I can't get really a feel of the girl. I can, literally and figuratively, I can't really get the aura, the enthusiasm, the energy that she gives off. Like, she might look good, but, you know. So that's something that I'm sacrificing. My health is pretty good. My business could be doing better. My relationships and my networking can definitely be doing better. And then obviously having that female companion in my life, that's something I'm sacrificing. But I have my minimalistic essentialism, the core things, and then everything else is on top. Here's a way to look at it in a couple areas. Number one is business, okay? If you're looking at business, a lot of people, they want to get the CRM, which is a customer relationship manager. They want to get the CRM. They want to get the office space. They want to get all the equipment. They want to hire all these people. They want to have a blowout opening party. They want to have the logo, the website. They want to have all those things. But what is the core thing that's going to keep you in business? Sales. If you don't have sales, you're not in business. If you don't have sales, you don't have the office. If you don't have sales, you don't have a logo and a website, and you can't produce any products or service. So the core is sales, okay? What is it in relationship? Relationship is a reciprocal appreciation for each other, among other things, like buying shoes or going on vacation. Those things are great, but if the underlying appreciation and gratitude for each other and reciprocal, instead of just one-way street where I'm just giving or I'm just receiving, that is the core to a relationship, and then you build these other things around it, which is you do things together, you say I love you, you write notes, but you won't write notes from a good place, okay? Let's look at health. Health, there's obviously I would say the core to your health is, what is your why? What is your why? Where's mine is, I want to live as long as I can, number one. Number two, on top of that is, I want to have the energy going into the afternoon. It's 1:18 right now, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is that one thing in the distance that I can see at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday next week that I need to have energy for. It doesn't just happen overnight. This is months. And for me, it's taken years to get to this point. All right. So I'm going to pop in, see if there's any question. Leave them in the comments below. All right. Well, this thing is flickering. I don't know if that's actually how it's coming up. I hope not. Yeah, how was your meeting for the two townhouses today? So obviously with the attack that happened in New York City, it was kind of slow in the morning. But we are with her. I have incredible branding around it. I really hope this is not what it looks like. Is it flickering? Let me know if it's flickering. So number one is there needs to be a brand. You need to be a brand. This is actually so distracting. Let me know if it actually is flickering. You need to have a brand, okay? So what we're gonna be doing now is gonna be branding every single townhouse that we have. So we have a townhouse and we're gonna be branding it, the address or the area or the street, and it's gonna be if it's uptown or downtown, if it's midtown, if it's in a really cool area, if there's a lot of art galleries along the way, obviously that matters as well. So for us, the way that we're looking at it is, okay, each individual townhouse. So then when we go into the pitch, we say, okay, here's the brand, here is the website design, the coloring, and the description. Then we're gonna have all these things that we lay out. Number one is we're gonna go live on our Instagram and our Facebook. Number two is we're gonna have a property tour. Number three is we're gonna have it for our vlog. Number four is we're gonna be bringing it up at a real estate show. Number five is we're gonna be launching it to the area via text messages and emails. We're also going to be having a sign outside of it. So she gave me 3 days to figure that out. Oh, she didn't actually know that I was going to be doing this, but she said, let's meet on Monday, which is today. So I just shot her an email and I said, hey, listen, what we're going to be doing is going to be rolling out the red carpet. It's a $10.5 million townhouse, which is a lot of money. Obviously, if you do the math on that, that's $200,000 compensation. So for me, not only do I want to get it, it's for the next one. The next one is on the Upper West Side. That's going to be worth probably $15 million. So if you sell the one downtown, you're also going to get the one in Midtown. I'm sorry, on the Upper West Side. If you get the one on the Upper West Side, you're probably going to get the next one, which is wherever else. This is a serial developer, and she's amazing at it, and she's really engaging. She's one of the developers you really want to have on your team because she's open to new ideas, branding, and using your expertise. So branding is everything. Gary actually brought it up and I really started thinking about it. Gary Vaynerchuk, he said that people are not going to buy your product because of your price. Because if you compete on price, you're not really competing because you could only go so low. Then you start cutting into margins. Then it's really not an emotional decision. It's just a logical decision. This couch is less than that couch. Working with you instead of someone else, it's cheaper to work with them. And a lot of people, that's the way they look at things. They look at real estate agents like that because there's so many. They just see it as a commodity. But really, if you look at it, if you don't have a brand, if you don't have an actual story, if you don't have a why behind it, and you're not regularly producing content where people can look that up, follow you, understand it, and be a part of that, you're fucked. And I don't see that in the real estate industry. They're not really turning that around. I don't believe that half of this industry will not be around in 10 years, okay? I've been saying that for a while. I got shunned out of my last company for saying that. They said that I would be back within 6 months. That was 4 years ago. For me, I understand that if you are not building an audience, if you're not producing content, if you're not feeling the fear and doing it anyway, you have to be doing something else that supports that, okay? You don't have to be the face of it, nor do you need a face of your company. But if you understand the importance of that and you actually enjoy it, like me, you have to put yourself out there. And you have to do that on a regular basis, like doing these lives. I don't know if someone's going to come on this live or see this video in the future and be like, I want to work with that person. I don't want to work with that. I want that person to speak at my event. It also has the underlying of giving back and the legacy. It's like, I read all these freaking books. It's like, okay, what am I going to do? Just sit on all this information? No, just pass it out. So there we go. Now we're getting, no flickering. All right, good. All right, now it's stopped. I don't know why. I have some questions. First, the law of attraction. Is it simply we act in accordance what we think about ourselves, or is it your opinion? Is there also a spiritual aspect to the... I think I'm going to do the question about God and attraction and energy, because I've been doing a lot of thinking and researching over the last year on that. And, you know, obviously, once you bring up the G word, God, people freak out and they just think of religion. They start thinking of Christianity and Judaism and Islam, and they think, you know, God, God, and it freaks them out. But if you remove the actual religion and then you have the concept of, say, universe or spirituality or, you know, power or force or whatever, energy, whatever you want to use, you know, it doesn't really matter the nomenclature you put on it. It's really the meaning you put on it. And it's kind of amazing when you really dial it down. That's why two of the smartest people, Elon Musk and Peter Diamandis, have talked about being in a simulation. And I was actually thinking about it this morning. I couldn't really sleep, but for whatever reason, this freaking question's been really on my mind, because obviously, yes, we're moving into the holidays and, you know, people do whatever they need to do. But if I'll just say in one sentence, and I'll have an entire broadcast because I did write some things down. But if you think about it, so this is what happened. Let's play it out. That's what I always say. You know, if you want to start a marketing campaign, if you want to date someone, if you want to start at a company or start your own company or do whatever, or move to New York City or move to LA or Miami, let's just play it out. That's what I did. When I was going to start my own business, I said, okay, how are we going to play this out into the future? You think of the financial repercussions, you think of the recession that may come, you think of hiring people, the office space, you think of all this stuff, and you say, okay, let's play it out. Let's play out, say, where we are right now, okay? We're obviously in year, you know, 5 billion.9 or whatever the Earth has been around. So let's play that out. You have these particles that started, and from these particles, say it was this big or even 100 miles big, you know, however big the Big Bang was. Say it's this big. And that then banged together, and then from there, literally, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an expert on this, but from there, they literally multiplied enough to create gravity, planets, to have just this motion of things that has happened in the universe. Was the universe there before the Big Bang? Did the Big Bang create the universe? So if the Big Bang created the universe, what is it pushing against? Like, what is out there? Like, what created that? Okay? And I'm not even saying the Big Bang or even that. Like, how can something be created from nothing? Okay, and then from there we then just say billions of years later, from asteroids coming down, you have this atmosphere that starts this bacteria in water, and then from there it's asexual. It cannot actually produce with two things. It's producing by itself, and then those things get a little bit more complex. Then those start becoming microorganisms, and then they start becoming a little bit bigger, and maybe bacteria and amoeba, and then from there they start growing cells, and then they start reproducing sexually, which is two things to actually produce, and then from there we fast forward, what, 4 billion years later, and then from there you get fish. From there you get things that say, okay, maybe I could do this on land. Then they go on land. Then there's birds that come up, and then you have reptiles, and then amphibians, and then from the reptiles there's mammals, and then from mammals there's humans. It's like, play that out in your mind. You know, that is miraculous. You know, that is miraculous. And what they said is, I'll just leave you two guys with this, is if you took the Empire State Building, listen, as I said, I'm not an expert on this, but the string theory, so essentially if you take string theory, you have protons, neutrons, and electrons. And those are things that they could sort of see and, you know, obviously dial in with an electronic microscope. Within that, there's obviously a rotating cluster of atoms within there. And then within there, there are some kind of just moving electric kind of quarks, okay? And it's just vibrating, okay? It's just going like this, okay? And then within there, that's where they think within quarks, they can't even see it, but they think that within there are these strings that nothing is literally attached, but somehow is connected to each other. Okay, so that's what they don't know. They don't know how they're attached. There's also the string theory that you could be millions of miles away and they somehow are also all turning and there's nothing attached within there. I forgot what the law of that is called. From there, there is mostly negative space everywhere. So have you ever like felt energy? And that's really what it comes down to. So the law of attraction obviously comes, you know, they commercialized it and it's a little corny and everything like that. And obviously what they wanted to dial it down to was the practical. If you think about it, if you visualize it, if you say it out loud, you incant it. But really what it comes down to is that there's three things. You design your own reality, okay? You design your own reality. Here's the example. This morning, obviously, this guy tried to blow himself up in a subway that's 2 blocks away. I'm in the gym. I don't follow any news. This girl comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" and everything else. The same thing happened. And she goes, "I'm never going to go near there." The same thing happened. She's saying she's never going to go near the Port Authority. The same thing happened. What did I say? I said, "Oh, okay. Like, what am I going to do?" Okay, that could be with anything. You just went through a breakup. You want to start your own business. It's like, if you fail, let's play this out. Okay, what is going to happen? Okay, what is the worst that's going to happen? You have to move in with your parents. You have to borrow money. You have to, I don't know, sleep on your buddy's couch. You have to ask for money. I don't know, like, play it out. Okay, but going back to the law of attraction is that attraction essentially is something that you focus on, and because you focus on it, those things come into your life because you see the opportunity. The example is, you really want to become, this year I want to become a speaker. So this girl posted on Instagram that she's starting a business and she's doing an event. And because I have that in my radar and that's what I want to become, I messaged her and I said, "Oh, you have an event, can I speak at it?" She said, "Sure. The first one is going to be in Westchester. The second one is going to be in New York City." People will see that as the law of attraction, where I attracted that into my life. I see it as, this is who I want to become. What do I need to do today? Okay, this is the type of relationship or company or whatever. Like, I knew that live is big, that this interaction where you guys can ask questions is huge. So I said, okay, what do I need to do today to have the audience tomorrow? Okay, I've talked about the hockey stick move. I don't really believe in the hockey stick move. Over time, it just adds up, and then the momentum actually gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, it's kind of like you go to the gym for 2 months, nothing happens, and then the third month you're putting up 145 or you're putting up 2 plates on either side on the bench press. You're like, whoa, where did that come from? And you couldn't even do that 3 months earlier. It was because you went every single day. Okay, so I always look at it is that the law of attraction is really coming down to, you have to see yourself as something that you want to become, number one. But number two is be open to the opportunities that will present themselves. So it's like, I want to be in shape, or I want to be in a relationship, or I want to start my own business. I want that. Okay, but the opportunities where you actually reach out to people, like I reached out on Instagram. I want to interview Instagram influencers. Okay, I hit up probably 15 or 20. Not one of them got back to me. I hit up Gary probably 5 or 6 times. I hit up D-Rock 5 or 6 times. I hit up Simon Sinek 5 or 6 times. I hit up all these people. No one said yes. No one's even replied. Okay, so though I see that I want to do that, and I'm taking the action, it's like people would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's not happening." I look at it as, it will happen, but I think the number one word is faith. The faith it will happen. The faith that you will be successful. The faith your company will be number one, or you'll achieve whatever goal you want. Just think of it as 2018 right now. The problem is, Christmas is on a Monday, New Year's is on a Monday, and what happens is those weeks, that's like 2 weeks, okay? You have to go to the gym on Wednesday of both of those days to ensure that there's momentum going into the next year, because you can't start next year. It starts this year, okay? So I'm just gonna go through, see if there's any questions. I have some questions for law of attraction. Hopefully there is universal energy, and I'll just leave you with this, is the Empire State Building, pretty big building here in New York City. So number one is Brian Greene, highly recommend. He wrote 3 or 4 books, but just go and watch his Amazon Prime Brian Greene. It will blow your fucking mind. What, like, I don't know. People just take life for granted, and that shit should just be given to them. And it's like, do you understand how miraculous and a miracle it is that we can do that I can talk, that there is life? Okay, let's just start there. That there is life. Okay. So Brian Greene brings up that if you took all of the solid within the Empire State Building, it would be able to fit in your hand, and it would be the size of a marble and weigh the Empire State Building. That is how much space there is between the strings. So you dial it in past the protons, past the atoms, past the quarks, into the strings that are just somehow vibrating and just being held together. Like I'm being held together by energy. This is all energy. So I hope that narrows it down. And Bob Proctor is incredible. Neuroplasticity. Okay, so I'll leave you guys on that. I appreciate it, Chris, for all the questions that you ask. And neuroplasticity has to be, there's two things in life, okay? Or there's two things in this world that really need to change. Number one is that we need to understand that there is a growth mindset. There are way too many people with a fixed mindset. It's where I was born. It was the family. It was the friends. It was the location. It was the circumstances. And then you can go into obviously physical traits of people. You know, it was because my father was an alcoholic, or my mother didn't love me, or because my sister, or because I was in a car accident, or whatever. Listen, I'm not saying that's bad, or it was a terrible situation that may have happened. But the growth mindset, instead of living in the past, which is a fixed mindset, that is your circumstances dictate the future, that is a fixed mindset. Go read Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, okay? The growth mindset, it has to be taught in schools. We are not teaching these kids in school that they can be what they can. They say you could be whatever you want, okay? But they don't give examples that Ray Kroc started McDonald's at age 54. KFC by Colonel Sanders was started at age 65. You know, what's his name started LinkedIn at 40, okay? These are things that there's not many people like Zuckerberg, okay? There's not many people like Jeff Bezos. There's not many freaks like Elon Musk, okay? There's a lot of people that say, okay, what can I change in my life? And I can tell you right now, I'll tell you right now what's gonna start to happen. So there's a lot of people that I looked up to in the real estate industry when people would ask how long you've been in the real estate industry, I would just say enough years to service your house or to take care of you. I have enough experience. So I would always say that. But now that I've been in it for, I think I'm turning eight or 9. I don't even know. That's insane, by the way. So I started looking at the people that I started with, and I used to look up to these people, and now I don't look up to them because my growth mindset has brought me to the point where I understand marketing, I understand sales, I understand body language, I understand eye contact and the nuances of an interaction. I could be in an interaction, understand, did they like what I said? Did they not like what I said? Did they agree with it? Do they want to hear something else? Am I exciting enough? Am I intriguing enough? Am I interesting? Is my enthusiasm too high? Am I turning them off or turning them on? How do they feel? Those little nuances is because I'm so present to right now, because I'm so confident in my ability to actually ask the right questions and conversate with people. You know, as Tony Robbins said in his documentary, I'm Not Your Guru, I created the person that you see in front of me through 10, 11 years of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and way too much time just learning about this. And I'm saying that humbly. I'm not saying that like bragging. I'm saying that I put in the time necessary to understand these things because I had a growth mindset. So number one is a growth mindset. Number two is health. We are in the matrix, okay? We are in the matrix in the fact that we need to pluck people out. We need to see that we cannot rely on the government, we cannot rely on social media, we cannot rely on society, we cannot rely on our parents or anything. We cannot rely on that. We have to go for the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth of, okay, how do I start a business? How do I get into shape? Are animal products good? Is vegetarian good? Question everything. Question people that are vegan. Question people that are raw vegan. Question people that are paleo or into the coffee thing by David Osprey. You know, having that much fat in me and then going through the keto diet, I don't know. I have my doubts about it. I haven't tried it, so I don't have enough information on it. However, I do know that we were plants at one time. If you look all the way back, before there were any animals, mammals, reptiles, birds, or anything, we were all plants going like this in the water. So if we were that is what we need to live on. Animal products only helped our brains recently because we discovered fire that blew out our prefrontal cortex because we could have more calories in a shorter amount of time. That shortened our jaw so we can crunch down the meat. These are things that you have to go through the truth. Don't even listen to me. Don't even listen to your parents or society or schooling. I wouldn't even want to be in school, to be honest, because there is such bullshit that is being loosened or let loose on there. All right, second question, watching sports, big waste of time, was a mess. Now I feel just encourage passivity. You said the World Cup, okay? So I only watch the World Cup when it's the World Cup, and maybe the United States is in it. Otherwise, I really don't care. I used to be a ridiculous football fan. I used to have season tickets to the Jets literally 5 years ago. That's how obsessed I was. I got rid of the TV. I don't really care because this is what would play this out. Play this out. This is the way it is. Play it out. You go to the bar on Sunday. You're spending money to be with people that you may like, eating wings, drinking beer. Cool, that's the socializing part. But then what are you putting into your body? What's that going to be like your sleep routine? That's also a Sunday, so you're going into a Monday, maybe a little lethargic, a little hungover, a little not ready for the day. Then that bleeds into, then you start eating like shit. You don't go to the gym on Monday. Then that bleeds into Tuesday, and you said, well, it's already Tuesday. You sort of eat a little bit. Maybe you go to the gym and everything. Then on Wednesday, it's hump day, whatever, I don't really care. You know, you start eating like crap. That's the momentum that goes through. So I said, this isn't playing out, okay? Financially, it doesn't make sense for me to go all the way out to watch the Jets lose a game. Number two is, it is a waste of time. Why am I gonna spend 4 hours? That's 16 hours a month, minimum. That's just if you watch the game. 16, 4 times 6. What am I looking at? Yeah, that's 16. 16 hours a month, okay? And that's just one game. If I watched a lot of games, no, cut out the sports. I don't even like I probably have an ESPN notification. I don't, but the ESPN notification is just the only thing, and I might even cut that out because, to be honest, that's part of the minimalism. How I started this is it doesn't freaking matter, okay? My minimalism is to cut out all the things that don't matter. Sports is one of them. I played ridiculous amounts of sports. The only sport I didn't play was football. I played lacrosse, hockey. I still play hockey. I bike. I run, sort of run. Do CrossFit right now. I played soccer religiously. Golf I played. I played literally every sport, okay? Softball, everything except football. Get rid of it, okay? Last question, one of the best quotes from Jim Rohn, be a student, not a follower. 100%, you have to question everything, number one. Number two is search for the truth. Number three is neuroplasticity is massive. That's why most people die when they retire, because they say they have no purpose anymore. The reason my dad, who's in his 80s, my dad is in his 80s, the reason he's still alive and still kicking and still healthy is because he looks forward to things. Yes, his wife, aka my mom, his wife is younger, but he looks forward to things because I shoot him texts every once in a while. He looks forward to Christmas or New Year's or Easter, or to see his family or his grandkids or me or my sister or my brother. He looks forward to those things. If you have nothing to look forward to, you're not going to live. There's no reason for you to be alive. And then you start saying, why am I even here? You know, those are the people I really feel bad for that are in a nursing home and no one is visiting them. They're literally just dying. I also think of it and say, I will be that one. I will be that person one day. I don't want to get there with regrets or without leaving a legacy. That's why I'm doing this at 1:42 on a Monday. Okay? So have an awesome day. Subscribe to the video. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I think you guys, I think I covered everything right now. And yes, go follow Bob Proctor and working for a broker or team. So I'll just answer this. This is the only real estate question that came up. And if you guys want to pop out, that's awesome. If not, leave your comments because it's going to be a super busy week. I don't know if I'm going to go live again this week. But with regards to a broker or a team, you want to start on a team if you're starting in real estate. Starting individually is very challenging. So you want to go to a team that's very successful, learn from that person, take those clients that you did business, then go out on your own. Not out on your own as in start your own brokerage like I did, but go out on your own and actually do your own business, okay? The difference between brokers doesn't really make a difference. Go to the manager that you really like, and you have to jive with them. That's really what it comes down to. So have an awesome day, guys. Appreciate it, all the questions. Chris L had like 13,000 questions. I freaking love it. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon.